Howdy, howdy, and welcome back. It is that time. It is, yes, another Workshop Wednesday. This week's edition is What's New. So we're going to go through and cover the latest changes and updates to Google Analytics 4, Tag Manager, Looker Studio, all the fun stuff that happened in November of 2022. Before we go too far into this, though, welcome. If this is your first Workshop Wednesday, my name's Chris Mercer. Everybody calls me Mercer. You should as well. And I'm one of the instructors here at measurementmarketing.io. And whether you found us through the podcasts and talks that we're out there doing, we share some of our training with some other platforms. You might have seen it. You might already be a measurementmarketing.io member of something called the Measurement Marketing Academy. And remember, we have free versions of the Academy. We have paid versions of the Academy. So however you found us, we are happy that you are here. It's our job to help you learn all of this crazy, cool stuff. And the way that we do that is by focusing on one thing at a time. So in this particular workshop, we're going to focus on one thing. So take one of the updates that you notice. It's probably going to be in GA4, especially if you're using that platform. Practice that, then come back, rewatch this update workshop, and pick another new one thing. That's how you learn this stuff without getting overwhelmed and frustrated along the way. All right, let's go ahead and get started, shall we? What's new? November 2022, the latest updates and features to Google Analytics 4, Looker Studio, and more. We're going to go ahead and dive right in as we always do with the framework. Remember, we plan, we build, we launch. We're all marketing the blind, trying to get to a point where we reliably grow revenue and profits. How do we do this? First, we plan properly by asking questions, gathering the information needed to get those answers, and of course, knowing what actions we're going to take before we even look at the numbers. You always do that first. Then, do your builds. Make sure that in your measurement build, you're properly measuring the results. You're making sure that traffic is identified so you know where the traffic is coming from. And it's connected in a way so that the traffic tells a natural story of which traffic is causing which results. Then you move on to the launch. That means you're using your measurement system. So we're listening to the conversation that's happening between the website and the users. Then we forecast to make sure that that conversation, we have an understanding, I should say, of how that conversation is supposed to go. So you measure against that forecast. And that is what tells you how to optimize and specifically where to optimize. That is the measurement marketing framework in a nutshell. And it does keep things pretty simple when you add a framework of measurement to whatever system and tools you are currently using. Without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring on our guest instructor, Director of Measurement, Julie Brade herself. She's been teaching this forever in internet terms, about 5 years now. She's been running with our clients. She's actually been teaching it longer than that, but working with our clients for 5 years as account manager. Also, absolute rock star when it comes to Looker Studio, quickly becoming that way with GA4 as well, as everybody else is trying to grapple with this platform, as I'm sure you have. Julie definitely has. So she's got some great updates to share with you in that platform, Looker Studio, as well as a few other things. So without further ado, Julie Brade, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you so much for that introduction. Let's go ahead and hop right into what's new with November of 2022. We're going to jump straight into Google Analytics 4, and let's talk about the things that you are probably wondering about with inside Google Analytics 4. So some of the things that are actually happening is it's super easy to find them if you're in any of your explorations, and you can go into the dimensions or the metrics and look for what is actually new. What are the new things that they have? So some of the new ones are hours or hour, nth hour. And so if you have any sort of questions around the time of hour, and there's also week is another one that you're able to use, as well as month is now in here as well. So you're thinking like, well, we've always had that. True, it's always been being collected, but we're finally able to use them now in the explorations, and eventually they'll roll out into the other reports as well as into other documents like Looker Studio or other places you want to be able to use them. We're able to actually utilize that information that's being collected, and so just use that as well. And one quick note while I'm here, this is literally a day or so old. I just want to point it out because I feel like it's so useful to you, is that here in your path exploration type of report, we now have page path is available. And so that means you're able to go ahead and decide what the page URL is or the page path. So you can kind of backtrack it by using ending point, or if you want to start over, you can have a starting point as well. And so this is just a really finally amazing way where you can say like, well, what are they starting? So if they start on the home page for us, then what do they do? And we can kind of walk through that. And so this is people logging in, this is people going into our offer page, and we're able to do that all because we have the page path instead of these other things that were not very helpful. So if you've been wanting to use page path, path. It is finally useful, and it is literally only a day or so old. So technically it is a December update, but it is so valuable, I wanted to let you guys know now. All right, so coming into some other things that happened inside of December with Google Analytics 4, if we go to our reports and inside any of our customized reports or customizable reports, we're going to try here in traffic acquisition and customize. And we did mention this in our previous updates again because we wanted to make sure you knew about it, and it was so new, but they finally documented it, but we saw it first and we let you guys know. But I just want to let you know again what it is. And so here, if you choose to add a dimension, they finally gave us these kind of different categories of all of these different options that we're able to have here. And it's searchable. So if we type in page, you're able to do that. Which it makes it insanely more useful, because if you didn't know what something was called, you had to scroll through the whole thing, and it was all alphabetical. It wasn't organized by different groups and stuff. So this is another really, really, really great update. So this is for all of the different customizable reports and stuff like that. All right, so now going on to the other really big thing that happened inside of Google Analytics, and we're going to kind of go to our handy dandy Lucid chart for this. So Google Analytics 4, we're going to make this guy a little orange and make his words super duper big so we can all understand that this is Google Analytics 4 here. So what we have going on with this is basically Google Analytics 4 says, hey, we can only, we're putting a cap on how much all of these different platforms, and it's anything that's going to be pulling data from inside of Google Analytics 4, even their own tools that they have, which is like Looker Studio and stuff like that. They're saying there's now an API limit is the verbiage that they're using, and there's an hourly limit and there's a daily limit, and it's all coming from a Google Analytics 4 property. And so if you have Looker Studio grabbing information and Google Sheets, the different type of add-ons, maybe you're using a tool like Supermetrics, Analytics Canvas, we'll talk about that one. Same thing with Power My Analytics or any other tool. If you are digging into Google Analytics 4 and grabbing information out, you're going to be interfering with that API quota. And we do have other videos. I want to show this real quick. Inside our YouTube channel, there's these two new videos. It's our new playlist, The Most Current Truth. We've also have them inside our membership site in the Winner Circle, and along with the community discussion of everything that's happening with lots of other links inside of there to kind of guide you through all these. So we kind of go in a little bit more deeper, but I just want to let you know that this is happening. This was a Google Analytics 4 update. And so what probably happened to you is your Looker Studio reports probably look something like this, and you kind of hop in here and it says you exhausted your concurrent request. Basically, I was asking for too much stuff at the same time. And so there's some things that you can do, and it kind of guides you through different things that you can try. One of the things that you can do is keep everything inside of Google Analytics 4. Use the explorations to the best of your ability. We have lots of other workshops and courses on using explorers and all of those, and it's so nice that they're actually becoming more and more useful. So one thing is keep everything inside of Google Analytics 4. Next option could be to simplify either your spreadsheets or your dashboards. Simplify them and then use a hyperlink to link to the exploration that's going to have more useful information for you, like the deeper dive, I should say, not more useful, a deeper dive. And so both of those are free options for you. And then coming into one of these, there are other tools that you would be able to use. So Supermetrics right now, again, it's pulling into the same API, but there are other ways to kind of use the tool if you're already paying for it to kind of maybe mitigate how much you're pulling or how often you're pulling and stuff like that. So definitely talk to your Supermetrics rep if that is something you're trying to do, if you already have the tool. If you don't already have the tool, you'll see in the other videos that we created that Analytics Canvas we feel is going to be an excellent solution for most of us, because basically when it's the way it pulls from Google Analytics 4, it's pulling in a way that's not going to have that quota issue. So then we can connect our Looker Studio. It doesn't connect to GA4, it connects to Analytics Canvas. And we have this weird looking guy right here, so he's not going to do that. We're going to make sure he does this. And my goodness, we're just going to go ahead and delete that, and we're going to make this look pretty. It does not look that complicated when we do it that way. So there we go. We would have Analytics Canvas go to Looker Studio, or whatever it is tool that you would want to use. Technically, there's a spreadsheet tool called Mix Analytics that would also be another great option too. And again, the videos here list out all the different options and all the other tips and stuff. I just want to let you know that this quota thing is an issue, and there are some ways around it without going into other different platforms. Like we said, stay inside Google Analytics 4 if you are able to, and then if you're not, then look at all of these other different options to see what's going to be best for you and best for your client. And then just a little heads up that coming up in the horizon, everyone is going to try to figure out where to store their data. So this is technically not a what's new part, but I just want to let you know that you are eventually going to need to store your Google Analytics 4 data. And we'll definitely be having lots more workshops and information on this. And one of those places that a lot of people are using or choosing to use because it's so easy is BigQuery. And so I'm going to get rid of all of these guys here. We're going to simplify this. And so one of the ways that we're doing this is BigQuery. So we're actually going to go from GA4 to BigQuery, and then BigQuery is going to have our Analytics Canvas, and then we're going into Looker Studio. That is one crazy looking funnel here, huh? And so there we go. We would be having our Analytics 4 data is going to be stored in BigQuery, and then BigQuery, Analytics Canvas and BigQuery work really great together. And then all of our dashboards are going to be using this. And the cool thing about using these two tools together is this tool over here, Looker Studio, becomes really, really fast and efficient. And so we're able to do a whole lot more with it because it's all the processing and stuff is happening over here, making this faster. And so this is what most of our clients and most of the measurement marketing experts are going this route too. So again, we'll have lots and lots more training on that. So just want to kind of give you guys a heads up, even though again, it's not technically, this part is not a what's new, but it's kind of like a what's coming up for you. All right, so let's go ahead and continue on with our what's new. So inside of Google Tag Manager, there was just a quick little update for some of the server-side options for improving latency. So if you are using Google Tag Manager and using server-side, you might have already noticed that. There technically wasn't anything that you had to do. It just basically said, hey, we're compressing traffic by default to improve the latency. So there's nothing for me to be able to show you at this particular instance, but just a little heads up on that one. Now, diving into Looker Studio. Let's pull back our other screens that we had open here. All right, we don't need our Lucid chart anymore. Let's hop into actual Looker Studio. So one of the super cool things that you're able to do now is to be able to zoom in various different ways. So you can now fit to width. And if I go into our view mode and hold on, let me. And you'll notice that it doesn't fit to width when we're inside our view mode. So I'm going to go back here real quick and show that one more time. So we're going to go to our view, click on zoom. There's this option to fit all. That's basically going to fit the entire page. Notice we are still in our edit mode. And then I can choose to go back to zoom and fit to width. It is fitting to this width here. And then if I wanted to make this whole thing fit to the width when we're in view mode, you still go to your theme and layout, you go to your layout and then choose this fit to width. And so now we can go into our view mode and now it is fit to the width of the monitor here. And so we can go back into our edit mode. If we wanted to change that, we could. But this is just really nice for those of us that are always editing inside of Looker Studio. It is a really big pain when you're editing and everything looks so small. And so this is just a really, really nice feature. Some other things that have been happening is you have all of these guys, little things that we have over here where you're finally able to minimize these. These have been kind of rolling out over the next, over the past few weeks. And so we've been seeing these things kind of slowly drip out. And so we're able to kind of move this bigger and smaller. Same thing with this guy here, bigger and smaller if we're wanting to move this around as well. So if we were trying to select something. So it's really nice we finally have this, and then being able to minimize these guys. Super awesome little feature that we're able to use inside of Looker Studio as well. And so those are your Looker Studio updates. And then let's go into what's new with the Measurement Marketing Academy. So we come into our membership site, just want to go into our winner circle first and also our win courses to show you some of the different things we have going on. For all of our members, we do have all of this Google Analytics 4 and as well as the so all the updates and changes. We have a thread going on there, as well as the quota issues kind of impacting more of your dashboards and reporting, all of those. So those are the threads that we have that the conversation is going, where the experts and everyone are throwing in links and like, oh, we see this and this is, here's different solutions and ways around it. So if you want to be part of the conversation, definitely jump in there, follow it, so you can keep tabs on what's happening there. So also with your what's new, what's already been done, and we did actually literally when all these fun changes were happening, we did update Win Looker Studio Basics. And then the previous month we did Win Google Analytics 4 Basics. So if you have not caught those, definitely go dive in and look at those. Now, what's coming soon for the Measurement Marketing Academy? In January of 2023, we will be updating Win Google Tag Manager Basics live. And so if you wanted to be a part of that, make sure that you're on the list and get notified to be part of that live with us. And then in February, it's a double your pleasure for Win Google Analytics 4. We're going to be doing the setup and the basics. So again, these are going to be live before they turn into the courses. And if you want to be a part of that, just let us know. Make sure that you are on the list to be a part of that as well. I'm going to go ahead and hand it back over to Mercer.
All right. Thank you so much for that, Julie. Appreciate that. Of course, if you have questions and you're an Academy member with Ask an Instructor support, you can find Julie in the Ask an Instructor section along with the other instructors that are there. Just be sure to ask whatever questions you want over these topics and she'll be able to help you out, or obviously one of the other instructors will as well. What was your one thing when you're thinking through this? I know for me, it's a matter of I can tell a better story now when I have those additional things from GA4, like the dimensions and metrics that are coming out, like, trying to figure out this quota thing that's going on. That's kind of in the ability to build reports with different things using, honestly, it's an excuse to start really getting good at the funnel explorations that they've got in GA4. These are the things that I would focus on specifically with that. Obviously, if you're using Looker Studio, the panel, that side panel, they're finally fixing that. So it's a little bit easier to get to, which is fantastic. So those are just a few things to make sure that you pay attention to. Next week, we have a Getting Started edition of Workshop Wednesday. So this is for those of you who are more on the beginner side of things. We're going to talk about how to set up Google Ads conversions using Google Tag Manager. For those of you using Tag Manager and want to set up your Google Ads conversions, you're going to see how that is done. Of course, if you want to make sure that you get notified about that workshop, just hit subscribe and make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. That way you'll get notified. YouTube will let you know. The other way, of course, is to join the Measurement Marketing Academy. Remember, there is a free level that we have called the Toolbox Edition. And so when you sign up for the Toolbox, you actually get the most recent Workshop Wednesday is always going to be back there for you, so you'll see these. Plus, you will also get a ton of tools. So a lot of these workshops will reference certain tools. You'll get all those tools that are back there. More often than not, we give those for free for our Toolbox members. So again, that is completely free. We also have Academy for Marketers, which is a paid edition. It doesn't come with all of the courses unlocked, as well as Ask Instructor support. We have the Academy for Professionals, for those of you who are just really doing measurement as your full-time gig, and you want some guidance with that. And, it comes with the mastermind and the boot camps and everything else. And of course, we've got Academy for Agencies and Teams if you need your company to really have a measurement culture and you want your company trained in this stuff. So they think measurement first. Because remember, measurement is no longer a project. It is now a department. Measurement should be a part of every organization, and that is what supercharges your marketing. To learn more about Measurement Marketing Academy and the current options available for you, just go to measure.tips/Get Academy. And we look forward to seeing you back there soon. With that, we'll go ahead and bring this one to a close. This has been What's New, November 2022 updates, the newest updates and features to GA4, Looker Studio, and more. Thanks again for watching this workshop, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.